Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Frank Alvarez. I am the owner and creator of Frankly Nutritious, and we are out at Delafield Elite Nutrition, and we are doing the webinar from there, and all of you that have logged in. But we're going to talk tonight a little bit about the principles of nutrition. It's what I do, why I do what I do, and some of the stories about some people that I've worked with, and my story is the big reason as to why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm a local Wisconsin native here. I've lived here most of my life, and my name is Frank Alvarez. That's where the name Frankly Nutritious comes from. But I was always interested in science, and I went to Madison, got a degree in bacteriology, and was going to go to med school, and that didn't end up going that way because I ended up flying airplanes for the Air Force. So I did that for 25 years here in town with the 120th Area Refueling Wing. And during all that time, I raced. So hence the three pictures that you see. You see the mad scientist Boris Karloff there, and then the airplane that I flew, and then myself racing. So I was doing all these things simultaneously, and over the last 25 years, and it's just been an interest, and I've always thought my body as a kind of a science experiment, so I could play with it in a good way, not bad ways with steroids and things like that, but and play with it and see what it could do and how it could perform and how it reacted to things. And I learned a lot of things, good and bad, along the way. So that's a little bit of my background anyways, and I'll get a bit more into my story as to why I am here doing what I'm doing now, retired and not flying airplanes. But as you see here, I got a picture of a brand new car, sports car. You can put any kind of car you want to put in there. But the point is that you got this nice new car that we've all were given when we were born. We're all born with everything, all the optimism and everything in front of us to do what we want with this body and with this life. And that's going to come to play into later as we talk about things. But so you can put whatever car you want in there, if you like the Mercedes or if you like a truck or a motorcycle, whatever it is. But it's a 2016 nice new shiny, or the year that you were born, however you want to look at it. So a little bit about my story, and it's I call it the truth about Frank, because people see me on the surface, and probably those of you that are on here that don't know who I am, and he's a nutritionist and an athlete and stuff, and he looks good and stuff, and he must have everything together, and nothing's ever went wrong with him. But what had happened with me, and you can get it on my website, which was it's franklynutritious.com, but you can go there and you can read the full-blown detailed story of what really happened to me. But the gist of what happened to me was that I was racing. I was a professional duathlete, so run, bike, run, and professional adventure racer. And I was doing all that stuff. I came from running. I was real hardcore into it. Did very well at it. And I ended up training for a race when I was about 35, and I ended up getting sick. I ended up getting a respiratory infection, basically. And I got on some antibiotics. That didn't fix it, didn't get me over it. And I had to go to nationals about 3 weeks into that, and I ended up racing, and it was a long race. It was about 30 hours of mountain biking, kayaking, and running. And again, 30 hours, sun up till sundown all night long. And I got real sick after that, and work and stress and everything. So you can see kind of diagonally here from being sick to racing to the bottom right corner there that I had chronic fatigue syndrome, mono, Epstein-Barr, all the same virus, however you want to look at it. I basically crashed, hence the red splotch there, and I was flat on my back for a good 30 days recovering. And some of the stuff that I had go on, it wasn't just that I had the upper respiratory and I was sick and I was lacking energy, but I had some pretty serious heart problems going on. I had heart palpitations and premature ventricular contractions and things that were really could have been pretty serious, and they still affect me to this day if I don't keep things straight and keep on my health. And I also had problems, may have had a somewhat of a brain stroke in the fact that my speech was slurred and things like that, and I had to really concentrate to speak for a while until I got better. So that's kind of what happened, and what I call this is, I was fit but not healthy is what it ended up being. And I've seen a lot of this in my coaching and counseling with people. I've seen a lot of people that are really super fit, but they're not healthy. We haven't been taught the right things, and we don't apply the right things because we weren't taught the right things. So that's a little bit my background on what I've seen with people. And I wanted you to know that, because that's why I'm passionate about this and why I'm speaking to you here tonight, and why I think it's important and for everybody. But here we have a picture of a family. You know, you can see everybody there. You can see the kids to the mom and dad to the grandparents. And they're all happy. They all look good. They all look very vital. And a lot of the stuff that we're, you know, that you're seeing there, you're seeing that health, and that's how we envision that things will go. And sometimes they don't. But the mantra that I talk about is pursue health and performance will follow. And that's true on an athletic level. That's where I learned that and how I applied it. But it also applies to everybody in everyday lives. You don't have to be doing Ironmans, marathons, and things to have that statement hold true. And this is true for everybody, not just everybody, but everybody. So everybody who has a body, this holds true for. And this is what you want to follow. And when I got sick, I wasn't following this. And that's why I fell apart. So some of the people that, you know, examples I think are the best way for me to describe, you know, what I'm trying to convey, what I'm trying to communicate to people, and show what it can do for you, whether you're, again, that world-class athlete or you're just a weekend warrior. So the first person I want to talk about is a good friend of mine's son, Russ Anvil, and he's a distance runner at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And if you're from around here, you probably know that Madison's a very tough school to do anything at, and their running program is right up there with their football program, is that they're that good. They are consistently a top 5, top 10 school in the country. So if you come here and run, you're stud status for sure. But here's something that he was having problems with. He wasn't finishing his races. You know, this is a kid who's very athletically competent. He's never really seen failure, and all of a sudden he's a couple of years into it, and he's fallen apart in his races. You know, he's in a 5-mile race, and he gets 3.5 miles into it, and his legs just completely fall apart on him, and his race goes to crap. Or at, you know, a half mile from the finish or a quarter mile from the finish. And it wasn't because he was just trying to finish hard. It was just the pace he was maintaining, which he knew he could do. He just fell apart. I worked with him, tweaked some things. We looked at his diet, looked at his lifestyle, made it easy for him to apply some of the principles, you know, carrying food with him that would work, and supplements to replace things that he wasn't doing. Per that previous slide, is pursue health and performance will follow. He wasn't pursuing the health aspect of it. You can see here in the statement, and I'll read it. It says, I saw Frank when I was struggling with low energy resulting in poor training and racing. I thought I was on a correct and healthy diet, but he was able to show me some flaws and gave me suggestions which have made a huge difference in my energy levels and recovery from training. Since seeing him and following his suggestions and guidelines, my racing has greatly improved. He's a good success story of mine, and you know, he did what I said, and he's still applying it to this day. This is only about 2 years ago that we did this stuff, and it really turned things around. And when I first was working with him, I knew I could make a huge difference just by seeing what he was doing. So another person is Becky, and this is actually a good friend of mine and a coworker. And she can see from the pictures there before and after, she did everything I told her to do. I was teaching some wellness programs at the Air Force, and nutrition and fitness were a big staple of that, and we were working out 4 days a week together. But the big thing was the food, and she took it to heart, and she did everything, like I said, that she was being taught and that I was teaching her, and it all changed for her. And you can read the whole statement there that, you know, she dropped 30 pounds, lost 8 inches off her waist. She wasn't able to run, you know, a mile and a half before the program, and then she was, you know, getting 100% on her fitness test within a year after doing this. But the big thing I saw with Becky, besides the transformation, was her confidence. And she says that my mental health also improved and was now able to sleep 8 hours a night, having enough energy to get me through the day. Her boss told me that she was one of the best workers he had before this, and she was better after all this stuff. So again, this is something that, you know, if you own a company, and for your employees and stuff too, because it makes them better people, makes them better at home, makes them better for you at work. They're happier, everything. It's a win-win all the way across the board, applying these principles with life. Jean's another one. She came to me and she had bruising primarily on her legs, where she would just basically bump her legs and she would bruise. And again, these are just nutrition deficiencies. You know, like with Russ, it was just a protein and a nitrogen balance, and with Becky, it was just a overall lifestyle change that she had to make, and getting whole foods in. Not drastic big changes, but just getting the right things in. And then with Jean, same thing. It was a big time nutrient deficiency, so vitamin C and bioflavonoids and things like that, which are causing that, which are where your veins and your arteries get their strength from. So she had this problem. We did some stuff. We got her on some pretty high doses of vitamin C and things like that at first to get her going and get her stocked up, and then backed her off a little bit. And she's actually still building on it to this day, but she's markedly better. And the thing is with that is it was just unsightly and a little bit embarrassing for her, but the fact that it was going to lead to bigger problems with her veins and her arteries, and it definitely runs in her family, so it was a concern of hers, as she was getting older. So those are some, and all of these people, the reason I'm bringing them up is because it's easy to do, it's not difficult, and it makes a huge difference in your life and your health going as you age. And one other person that I don't have a slide here for, she had Raynaud's, and then it progressed into lupus, so a neurological condition and things, but it's autoimmunity. And she had a pretty bad diet. It was not one of the worst, but I think consistently over her 45 years of her life that she had eaten pretty poorly, and all we did was add essential fats, proteins, and changed her carbohydrates, and didn't even touch on the exercise or anything. And it took about a year. Things came around pretty quick for her as far as how she was feeling, but within a year she went into her doctor, and he didn't really know what to say to her, but he said, I clinically can't say that you have lupus anymore. So that was another really big story, and that's why, and that's what this is about, and that's what this slide here is that when you have things going on, if you feed your biological demand, you can support and build that foundation of health, and a lot of the things that you have going on will disappear, whether it's any kind of a disease to an immunity to an injury to you're just lacking energy, you just want to feel better throughout the day. You got to listen to your body, and you got to supply the right things to it, and it will come around. But the slide is one of my favorite slides because it's very complicated, and it's fun to watch one of the balls move around there and see if you can follow it around. But you don't have to know every nuance of this slide and what it's doing and where things are going, like your body. You just need to know, if something's not occurring right, that it's just somewhere in that machinery. You just need to replace it, and that's a vitamin, that's a mineral, it's a lifestyle factor that you have to tweak. Usually we have to bring it back into our lives, and it will fix itself. The body is very, very complicated, but it's very smart. It's incredibly smart. So if we can do that, then things run smoothly, like the slides running right now. So some of the stuff that I do, you can see here on the slide, is I have free consultations, body composition analysis, which is something where we're going to get your water levels, your hydration levels, your muscle mass levels, and those are really good empirical biomarkers that we can use to track what's where you're at, where you're going with your goals. I do nutritional assessments. My biggest, probably most popular plan is that nutritional personal training on the bottom left there with the fruit dumbbells and stuff, but that's nutrition on a personal training level. It's a monthly program where we converse, and talk about where you're going, where you've been, and we formulate a plan, and then we meet monthly on the phone or Skype like this, a webinar, and we talk about just moving that plan forward, and we keep in touch monthly to do that. I also do family nutritional counseling, and then improving lifestyle stuff, which is everything. Other stuff I do, and all those other things can be done online. They don't have to be. You don't have to be here in the Milwaukee area. We don't. We sit down usually. If I am, and if you are in the Milwaukee area, I'll sit down with you live for the initial consultation, which is about an hour and a half of us going through your lifestyle, getting to know where you've been, where you're going, how your mom fed you, how you fed yourself as a college student, as an adult, and what you're doing now, and then what your goals are, and your family history. But other things we do that you have to be here around for the grocery tours, and we can do that anywhere, or I'll take you in, we'll go shop and show you, things you need to know to make good choices and such. Pantry cleanses, again, that's me coming to your house, and we go through that based on your goals. If you want me to completely clean you out, or if you just want me to step you forward slowly. Then I also teach a nutrition course, which is the Principles of Nutrition. and that's 12 weeks, 1-hour courses. A really, really good course. It's what we should have learned in middle school, what we didn't learn. It's simple stuff. It's not complicated. Again, it's a 7th grade level type stuff, but it's how all this stuff works. How to buy supplements, if they're good or bad. How to know if they're good or bad, and how to do that research. So I want to go back to that first slide now with the car, and when you get that car, it's your choice as to how you're gonna care for it and what you're gonna do with it. So this is your body. So I got a nice 1957 Chevy here, maybe the most classic car that maybe America had ever built. But you can see there, that's 1957, and that's a picture here today, current, in the last couple of years, and you can tell it's an old car. It's not current in the model and in the style, and it's made of plastic and things like that, and got the souped up engine and everything, but it's nice. It's got all its original parts. It's not rusted out. It's got a nice paint job. Windows aren't cracked. Tires are good. It runs, and it can do everything. Can it run as well as it did before? No, of course. It doesn't have as much horsepower, things like that. The radio's not so hot maybe in the speakers and things like that, but it's all good. It all works. It all functions, and that's what I'm talking about. So if you do the right things, and if you take care of things as you go, you can end up like this. Are you gonna get older and things are gonna change? Absolutely. But can we do things along the way to minimize the damage of the environment, damage of lifestyle, damage of disease and things like that? Yes, and we can avoid them. And if you don't, and you go down that reckless road, you can end up like this, where your 57 Chevy doesn't run, can't do anything, and you're riddled with disease and injuries, and it's been that way all your life, and now you're just kind of limping through life. That car is not limping anywhere, so that's somebody who's probably bedridden with a serious disease like cancer, heart disease, or anything like that. So that's a lot of what I'm talking about. It's the food, it's the lifestyle. It's not difficult. I'm not one way or the other. I'm not vegetarian. I'm not against it. I'm not pro you have to eat meat, and I'm not against that either. And it's not about restriction. That's the biggest thing. It's pretty common sense. You can do things. You can do what you do now. You just have to get your food from the right sources. You can eat brats. You can eat steak. You can eat fish. You can eat chicken. You can eat the skin on the chicken. You can eat butter. You can eat fat. You can do those things, but you have to get them from the right places. And that's what this is about. It's not about that we're going to go out into the front yard and pull dandelions and bark and make tea and such out of it. It's about eating the right foods, going to your farmer and getting them. And a lot of the stuff's in the stores now, so it's not difficult to get the stuff. You don't have to go to your farmer, but that's kind of cool to do. But it's about that and bringing things back home and the way that they used to be, because we didn't get sick a long time ago. But that's it. I have to grab my guy here to get to the questions page, because I don't know how to do that. But again, my name is Frank Alvarez. There's all my information. If you want to call me, you can call me. There's an address down there, info@franklinnutritious.com, and you can email me there for information. And the website, www.franklinnutritious.com. You can go there. All my services, everything are there. This webinar will be on there as an audio. I'm not sure if slides will be on there or not. I'm not sure how Elite Nutrition will be putting this up. So please visit there, visit often, share it, and I'm going to try and see if I can see the questions here. So, okay, I'm on the page. Does anybody have any questions? I'm opening that. I think I got that right here now. Have any questions, you can just go ahead and type them. And I'll hang out for another minute or two. And if not, thanks for listening. We enjoyed it, appreciate it, and come down to Elite Nutrition and check out their stuff here. And if you need any help with purchasing stuff, Seth is very knowledgeable. He's got good, clean products here, and you can always email me, call me, and I will help point you to some stuff here that you can get to that can help you with what you're doing and get you on a good rounded program. Again, be careful with a lot of that stuff that you don't get allopathic like Western medicine gets. To take a pill because you have arthritis and that's supposed to make it go away. It's the same thing. You don't want to take vitamin C just because you heard it helps your joints. Like I said earlier, it helps your arteries. You need to take everything. They all work together, and you can run into a lot of people that are in the that do what I do, and they just pump single nutrients at you, just like, and that's not correct to do either. So okay, and you're welcome for the compliments there on that comment, and yeah, please give me a call. So thank you again, and we will talk with you guys soon.